All right, welcome to this training section. We're going to be talking about the step-by-step of opening your business bank account. Okay, so the previous training was a high-level overview. Now we're going to do a high-level overview of the step-by-step. So it's very straightforward. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Step-by-step of opening up your business bank account. The very first step is going to be for you to go ahead and make a decision of which business bank you are going to go ahead and work with, whether that be a major bank or an alternative online bank. You are going to go ahead and have to make that decision regardless of if you're a US student, a Canadian student, or from any other country in general. Then step number 2 is that you are going to want to go ahead and prepare your documents. Okay, so if you're going to be going in person, for example, if you're going to open up at the major banks, then you are going to need to make sure that you have all of your documents as well. And then also for online banks, you're going to have to make sure you have your documents. Okay. So let's say, for example, you are going to be doing a business as, right? So you have your DBA. If you're going to be doing a sole prop, you're going to want to have to make sure that you have all of those documents as well. If you're opening up as an LLC, an EIN, operating agreement, all of those important documents that you're going to need. Now, Chase actually has an article as an example of what you're going to need in order to actually go ahead and open up your business bank account. So it says, what do you need to open up a business bank account, right? That's the name of the article that is available. That article link is available inside of the guide, so you can go ahead and check that out. But it's very important that you come prepared, because you do not want to go up and let's say, for example, you go to Chase and you're going to open up a business bank account. You go to Chase and then you're like, oh, I'm missing a document. Then you got to go back home and then you got to get the document. Then you go back to the bank. It's very, very annoying. So you want to be ahead of time prepared, make a list of all the things you need and make sure that you actually bring all those things properly. Okay. And then step number 3, as you go through this process, is to follow the instructions online or from the banker to make sure that you are going ahead and setting up the right bank account. Okay, so make sure it is a checking account, not a savings account, because you are going to have quite a few transactions going in and out. So this is not a savings account, it is a checking account. And make sure you are also looking at the minimums and the fees that are associated with that bank account, so that way you can be sure, like, okay, you got to transfer some money in, so that way you don't get fees and all that kind of stuff. You got to go ahead and make sure that you are looking at that, and that way you are mindful of all of those other considerations as well, okay? Now, before we close out this specific training, I want to go ahead and address something very, very important. The question is, do I have to wait to have my business bank account set up before I do anything else? Now, I want to go ahead and make this very clear. Pay attention. Very, very important. Repeat after me. The answer is no. Okay, awesome. Why? Because the thing is that there are only 2 trainings that you cannot start without a business bank account, okay? So before you actually move into payment processor and payment terminal, these 2 you are going to need a business bank account for. There are all of these other trainings in which you are not waiting for your business bank account. And so for somebody to sit around and twiddle their thumbs and say, oh, you know what, I didn't get a chance to go to the bank, or hey, you know what, it's still a little bit far away from me. There was traffic time, and so I couldn't actually go to the bank and all this stuff. All these are just excuses that somebody is looking for in order to not work on their business. And so anybody who sits around waiting to say, oh, you know what, I got to wait for my business bank account to get done before I can work on my business, they're making excuses for themselves. And then inside of the community, they are going to get labeled as a failure uniform business owner, as a wantrepreneur, because the truth is that professional entrepreneurs do not wait around for everything to be perfect. Like I showed you in that table, there's literally so many more trainings that you can do without having to wait for your business bank account. Now, does that mean that you don't do the business bank account? Of course not, right? Please do not be that idiotic either, right? You want to make sure that you're getting it done, but you're also not waiting around. So you got to keep working on what you can work on at the time that you're working on it, right? So let's say, for example, you're watching this training and it's 8 p.m. at night. All the banks are closed and you still have an hour to work on. You're not going to be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to work on anything right now because the banks are closed. I'm just going to go and watch Netflix. Of course not. You still got an hour to work. Keep on going through the trainings. Keep on building what it is that you got to work on. And so you got to get the work done, but you got to have the wisdom to know, hey, what is important for me to be able to work on? And the devil is in the details. You got to have the nuances, the wisdom to know what's important. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been this training on opening up your business bank account. What's next? We still have some other trainings to actually go through here, because once you are in the process of getting your business bank account set up, there are other legal business status and information that have to be gone ahead and updated inside of your actual business platform. So that's actually what we're going to go ahead and talk about next. And then obviously, if you are waiting to go ahead and get your business bank account, finalized, then obviously you can go ahead and come back to this training, come back to the training that's right after this, and you can go to a different training, go ahead and maybe work on your calendar, your scheduler, your contact management, right? You work on some other part of your business. And then when you're ready to go ahead and get your business bank account set up and your invoicing and your payment processor, then you can obviously come back to this. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been this training section on the step-by-step of opening up a business bank account. Every step that you take in the right direction is progress. Don't beat yourself up. It doesn't matter if it's going slow. That's just your expectation of it. Just keep on chipping away at it step by step by step, inch by inch by inch. Keep that momentum going. With that being said, we will catch you in the next training section.